Okay, another episode. We're moving along slowly, but surely. Wanted to kind of show we have an engine again. I tried to use the cover. I had it on when I installed the intake the first time, and it doesn't give me enough clearance up here to get it in and out easily. So I'm just going to leave it off. I may play with it and maybe cut the back of it off and see, because those that don't know, you have to take the intake manifold off to get the cover off. It's got a thing in the back. I set it over here. Let's go look at it real quick. But essentially it sits on like this, and as you can see, it has this whole back section that comes down the back side, which is why you have to have this installed before you install the intake manifold. And so because this kind of sits pretty high, this kind of sits pretty high compared to just the intake manifold, that it just kind of gets really hard to try to lift it up to slide it out after you take it off, if you ever need to remove it for anything. So what I may do is I may play with this and maybe cut this back section and see if I can get it enough that I could actually just slide it in and bolt it down. The cowl and everything is low enough that I think if I cut it almost even up to here, you're not going to see it once it's in the engine bay. So yeah, as you can see, it sits so far underneath there that I don't think you're going to see it if I cut it just to get it to slide in and screw it down. Just to kind of clean it up. I mean, it doesn't really serve a purpose. It's more of a aesthetic thing, but I wanted to kind of show we have at least partially assembled. I still got to install this radiator hose and the belt. There's no coolant in it, so I'm not cycling the water pump at the moment. I have started it to test fuel lines, so that's why I installed that and removed it and reinstalled it. So made sure fuel lines weren't leaking so I could put the insulator back on. So the insulator's back in, valve covers are mounted. I'm waiting on a few fittings to rerun my vacuum setup. I'm going to kind of clean that up and make it look really nice. So I bought some really nice check valves. Those should be here hopefully next week, so I can plumb that in. So right now I just have it capped, but for those that remember, I used to have that line that went across the top, came into the intake. I'm trying to find a 45 for here. I've tried a 90 and a straight. I'm not a big fan of kind of how this loops, but essentially my new PCV system will have the intake into the passenger side. It will ventilate throughout the crankcase. It will come out there. That's supposed to be the PCV valve. I don't see a valve in there, but this is the way the 19 is designed. So it'll come out from there into a new catch can. I have not installed this yet, but this is my new catch can. It will go, down in here. So that line will go into the catch can, and then the out will go into the intake, and then I will have the brake booster to the vacuum pump with a T going into the intake. And then it'll be nice and clean looking over here. All nice hoses and everything. I've got all that. I just need to plumb it, but waiting for a few more fittings for that. And then hopefully I can get a 45 and I can clean that up a little. And then we'll be good. I do have so I kind of want to make my diff stuff a little easier. So I've actually got a fixture coming that hopefully will allow me to easily mount this so I can dismantle it and start digging into that. Hoping to get into that next weekend. I should have the fixture on Monday. So once I get the fixture, next Saturday, the first thing I'll be doing is digging into this and get it empty. Not empty, but the fluid at least out of it. It's still full. It's still full of fluid. Empty the fluid, and then I'll start pulling the stub axle assembly out, and then I will pull the carrier, leaving the pinion for now, and then I will have a new housing that I'm going to mount the carrier in, remount the stub axle setup, and see if I still have that play on this side. If it still has the play with the new bushing, I will put everything back into this housing since it's already set up for the 410s. And then I'm going to replace this bushing here, and then I have a 589 diff drop that I might experiment with for here. I may mount that up, see what the angles look like at my pinion, and kind of go from there. But that's the plan next weekend, is to hopefully have the front diff. Working with that, if everything seems to work out fine, I will have that remounted, and if I have that remounted, I can put the front suspension on pretty quick, and we may be driving this thing. But I'm sure everyone's probably wanting to know, but we do run. And I don't have the alternator belt on. Whoop. I actually have way higher oil pressure than I did before. Should be. Maybe I have some, let me see where my battery is at. We'll let it idle for a second, but as you can see, I'm sitting at in the mid 40s. So before I even had my oil pressure issue, I never got above 30 at idle. So we're already pressurized way better than we were before. I'll be quiet a second and we'll let pulled the valve covers and checked, and we're oiling very, very well now. A little smoky. I did spray and clean the cylinders with some WD-40 before I reassembled, so probably gonna have to burn a little bit of that out. Actually doesn't even smell, so that may just be because of the cold. It is very cold today. It is in the 20s. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and shut this thing down since I don't have coolant going through it. And I'll catch you guys on the next one when hopefully this thing's on the ground and we're driving it again. Catch you on the next one.